Yeah, sorry about that. And goddamn camera shut off. I think it got too hot. Like the sun's kind of beating on us. So I'm gonna have to turn the air conditioner on. Let some cool air come up. But we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I had to turn around anyway. And back there, they had the road blocked. Not for COVID or anything. They're doing some construction shit. So it just started, so I gotta do that. So anyway, back to my story. I don't know what. Maybe you missed some of it about the woman casting a spell. So anyway, my father-in-law was having problems with this woman, and she comes over one day. She starts casting spells, doing some crazy shit. Like that's what the workers said. Like, shit, we had a bunch of workers there working, and they said, yeah, she was doing some black Chinese magic shit. Like, it was pretty wild, I guess. So, but they thought, yeah, just craziness, right? So anyway, 3 days later, he's on the roof of the house doing some shit. He slips, he falls off. And I mean, you saw how high the house is. The house is, it's 3 stories, well, damn near 4, because there's an attic. So you're way up there, fall down. And just, I mean, God rest his soul, poor, it's a fucking tragedy, right? But so anyway, it's, coincidence. I don't know if it's coincidence or what. 3 days later, after this woman basically cursed you to death, put a death wish on you, whatever you call it. I don't know what the word is. She was weaving spells. You end up dying. That's some coincidence, man. Like, that's pretty, I don't know, man. I think twice. So anyway, everybody was like, oh, this is madness, right? Let's hold on a second. There's some people here. All right. So anyway, her family found out about this. Like my wife's reasonable. She's like, nah, it's just just an accident. I mean, in China, there's no, well, not all of China, but in these countryside places, when they're doing construction or building stuff, like, there's no safety protocols. There's no, like, harnesses or, it's like bamboo scaffolding and shit. Like, you fall, you're fucked. I mean, maybe if you had a harness on or doing some, safety hat, I don't know, something, might have lived. But so anyway, like, my wife was reasonable about it. She goes, no, I don't think it's because of this sorceress or wizard or witch. I don't know what you call it, whatever. But then their family's old school too. Like, she has a bunch of uncles and aunties, and they're all old. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, this this fucking bitch, cast a spell, killed them, and all this and that. So at the funeral, we had a funeral at the house, and we had all the, like, the Chinese country style funeral. It was pretty wild. It's like a 3-day affair, right? And, like, you set the casket up, and they put, like, a thing on the end of the casket, like there's like a fish, a pig's head, something else, some other thing, and it's like, you got candles go up, and you go and you say a prayer. Everyone comes up and burns, like, an incense thing and say a prayer. You bow down 3 times, and you kind of hang out all day, all night. Like, you gotta stay up for a few days, like, no sleep, like the family does anyway. So yeah, we're all out, having, basically just drinking Red Bull, having some beer, just, whatever, hanging out. And it's at the house too. There's no house there. It's just a shell of a house. So we're all just kind of hanging around this, look like a construction site, basically. Yeah, it was a rugged time. Anyway, so everyone's fucking pissed because this woman cast a spell. So they all got mad. Like, I think, like, the first or second day of the funeral, a few of her family members, a few of his brothers or his sisters or something, a bunch of them went over to her house and, like, busted out a few of her windows in the village, right? Like, and I'm like, oh shit, guys, don't do that type of shit, I mean, it's bad enough. I mean, I was kind of being a little selfish. I was like, because I'm a foreigner, right? Like, if the police end up coming here and they see a foreigner and there's a busted out windows and shit, and I'm kind of associated with the guilty party, like, that could be shit for me, right? So anyway, they did it anyhow, whatever, and they busted the place, but they didn't call the police or nothing. It was cool for that day. Then the next day, we had the burial, which is like, you have all these people, like the whole family wears these white sheets on your head, like white hats or something, kind of hang down, kind of like, looks like a do-rag, sort of, like, kind of like what a rapper would wear, sort of, with a long hanging in the back. I'm not sure how to explain it, but you wear one of these and you walk to the burial site, and these boys are all fucking locked up too. Shit, maybe I can't go to Oh, he's letting me go by? Maybe. Yeah, man, there must be some shit happening here. Alright, boys, yeah, shit. So anyway, yeah, he let me go by, but maybe I got that foreigner pass. I don't know what it is. But anyway, so back to the story. We had the funeral where we're doing the stuff. We walk to the gravesite, we bury him. They have like this little, kind of like a tradition where it's funny. Like it's supposed to maybe bring out laughs in it. Like, because everyone's kind of laughing when they're doing it, as they're doing it. They're like measuring the casket, but it's kind of like, it's meant to be funny, like kind of like lightheartening or something like that. So they did that and they buried him. But it's weird because they don't actually bury you 6 feet, like directly down. It's like, they bury you kind of into the hill. Like they dig into the hill and your casket is kind of put kind of into the hill. I don't know, it's weird how they did it. I don't know why it was like that, but that's how they did it. And then he has a nice, like a tombstone, kind of like, not even a tombstone, it's huge. It's like, I don't know, I'd say it's probably like 10 feet by 10 feet, like this marble slab stuff put up. It's really nice. Anyway, enough about that. So we came back. And, you know, her parents, it's still boiling over with the neighbor sort of thing, right? So they decide that night they got someone to go cast a spell on her. Like it would all kind of, they got some, I don't know, fortune teller or witch or something. I don't know what they got. They got someone to come here and do some spell on her that night. They had, I just watched it from afar. Like I don't want to get involved in any of this shit. Like this is fucking madness, right? So I didn't want to get involved in it. So I'm kind of hanging back, and I'm looking. And they had this pot, and they had some papers. They burned these papers. They took the ash, and they wrote with the ash on her door, like her back door of her house. Did a bunch of shit, and they had this chicken. I don't know. I think the chicken didn't die though, but they had the chicken kind of doing something there. Like he had a pardon to him, and. Yeah, and I was like, oh fuck, this is crazy, right? Now I'm thinking in my head, like this is bonkers. Like what the hell? Because usually I've been to this village a lot prior to this, normal. Like never any craziness like this has happened before. But so anyway, next day it's like the last day of the funeral. Everyone's kind of whatever. It's the last day, and the neighbor got her son. Like she has four or five sons that are old. Like, not old, but they're, 40s, 50s, whatever they are. She got them and, like, a bunch of their friends to come because she told them, she said, hey, man, the neighbor here come busted up our windows, smashed our door in and all this stuff, like, dented our door in and all this. So, it kind of went, so there's like 20 of them. And then her family was like, they're ready to go. They said, come on, Lawai, let's go, because they don't call me by my fucking name. It's just like, they don't even know it. They just know me by just Lawai, right? So, Lawai, Jayo, let's go. And because, they were going to fight. There's like 50 of them on our side. It's like family members and friends, and, it wasn't all family, it was friends and everybody. And, yeah, it was serious. Like, they had sticks, they had farm equipment, like, tools and all this shit. Like, there was going to be a fucking, like, a rumble, like a brawl. And there's like 20 of them. They had the same shit, and I'm like, man, I can't fucking do this. Like I told myself, I can't even be seen in this area. Like, what do you think was gonna happen to me if something goes down? Say if someone was killed during this incident. What, it'd be an international incident. I'd be on the front page news. Some Lawai in some kind of a magical fucking fight triangle here in a village, in central China. What the fuck? I can't be involved in this. They'll put me right in jail. They'll throw right in the key. They'll put me in jail. Won't even think twice about it. Or do something bad to me. I'll be off making knockoff iPhones somewhere in some sweatshop. They won't, I'm definitely not going out of this unscathed for sure if something happened. So her family's like, come on, they're almost like pulling me to go. Maybe because they thought, I'm a big dude. They thought, well, maybe it'd scare them off or have just another hand in the fight or something. I was like, oh, but I'm thinking in my head the whole time, I'm thinking quick. I'm like, fuck, man, I can't do this. This is fucking madness. So I'm like, but it's her family, it's, I don't want to piss them off either. Like, I don't want to piss these people off. So I'm kind of in a rock and a hard place here, right? Between one anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go. So I went, but I had no plans at all. There's no thought of me doing any sort of violence or fighting. I was just going to kind of stand off in the back or to the side and just look. So anyway, they stood off. they're about maybe 10, 20 feet away from each other, all like kind of lined up. Like, I know it sounds weird, but it was just like a movie. Like, it was just like one of those Mexican standoffs, Chinese standoff, I guess you call it. And it was just like they were mouthing off to each other in like I kind of pieced out a little bit, but it's like a local language, so I couldn't really understand a lot of it. I mean, I got most of it. I know they're both pissed. I know what they're yelling about. Like, I know the situation, but I don't know exactly. They were just, they were going hard at each other. And I was like, but like not fighting, just yelling, whatever. Then finally, her uncle came in, and he kind of, because he was reasonable too, like sort of, and he kind of was like, listen, man. And they figured it out, cooler heads prevailed. They figured it out, and what they were gonna do was, they said, okay, we're not gonna fuck with you anymore. And I mean, why would you want to fuck with this woman anyway? Apparently, she's a witch. She's a wizard that cast a spell that worked on her parents. Like, why would you want to go and fight this woman? She'll do the same thing to you. I'm like, man, don't fuck with her, right? She might know some magic, like legit magic. I don't fucking know. Like, it's just craziness, right? So anyway, after the whole thing went down, he's like, okay, okay, we're fucking not gonna pay for your shit. We're not gonna do this, but we're not gonna fuck with you either. So then anyway, they said okay, because I guess her kids were like, well, yeah, she's in the wrong too. Like, she probably shouldn't have went and cast a spell on him. Like, maybe that wouldn't have been, then none of this probably would have happened, right? So they kind of reasonable too. So, but it was gonna be a brawl, man. Like, they were serious, like to a point, I guess. I mean, maybe it was all just for show. Probably was just for show, but it's a damn good show. It had me convinced. I thought they were gonna go. There's sticks and rocks, like all kinds of other shit. They were ready to roll. So anyway, after the whole situation goes down, she's, the funeral's over, everything's done, everything's kind of cooled down. Now her mom, has nowhere to go. Like her mom, the house is half built, it's only a frame of the house there. She has nowhere to go. She just lost her husband, lost her, everything basically she knows in the world's gone, right? And I mean, we were planned on leaving in like a few months, like before this, because we've already been there almost a year. Like, we already kind of were thinking about going back. And then it was like, well, what are we to do? So, and at the kind of summer heart, I said, well, hey, we can stay, for another year maybe, and just, stay with her, help her out, because she had nothing. Like, she was like, had money, but there's no. Like, she don't know how to build a house or anything like that. Yeah, actually, pause that for a second. Look, check this out. This tree here in this town. This is not the town I go to. This is a small little whatever. This tree here is must be a few thousand years old, man. They built around it in the road. And you can see a little bit, but it's just massive, man. It takes up half the road. There's a little TV repair shop in front of it. Like, not a TV, like a tube TV. Like one of those repair shops. I don't know. He must have got the license from it like 50 years ago or something. I don't know. He has a shop there though. But anyway, so back to the story. So my wife's mother, she's all distraught and shit. So we said, okay, another year we'll stay here. So, and then we decided, well, we might as well fix the house or finish it, because there's, you can't just have a shell of a house here and you can't sell it. So what are you going to do? So we're like, oh, it don't matter. We got a little extra money. We'll put into it. So what happened was he had spent probably up to that point around like 300,000 RMB, maybe give or take. I'm not sure exactly the price, but he had most materials bought, and then the frame was up and everything. And then we spent another 300,000 ourselves, and just to finish it completely, all the workers, all the labor, all that stuff. So not too bad. So total, 600,000, give or take a little bit. I don't know the exact numbers. I never really kept track of it too much. I mean, I looked at it, but I didn't, keep track of it too much. Yeah, like the whole front thing was paved off. Like, it's all done up how it is. That's the total cost. So in like Canadian dollars, 600,000 RMB, you're looking at I don't know what the exchange rate is now, but around 110, 120-ish $1,000. So whatever, done and done. House was hers and shit. So then it was all good. We stayed there another year. Like, we finished it. I only took a few months after to finish it, because I said, I ain't fucking around. Let's get this done. Let's get the, I'm not like, fucking, he did some of the work himself, like fucking before his, like, he's just an old man, and he kind of did the work he helped the workers and stuff. I'm like, I ain't doing no fucking work. Fuck that. I'll pay the workers to come in and do the shit and get it finished up. So it's not going to be you're not going to take a year. It's going to get this done in like 2 months. So we cranked it out. Yeah, it was done. Everything's done. And we're living there. My son's there. We're having a good time. Like, whatever. We said we'll stay another year. So that year is about to be up. And we were going to go back because, at that time, her mom was cool. Like, better. She was cool staying by herself. It's a big house. You don't want to stay there by yourself anyway. But, it's not ideal. But, I didn't really want to stay. I don't mind China. I like China just as much as Canada. I'm cool with being in Canada. I'm cool with being in China. Either way is cool with me. So, yeah, she was, she was there, and we had our plane tickets booked, whatever, it was for like January, and it was like just when COVID hit, like when it first came out, man. And we're like, what are we gonna do, because fucking check the news, and it was like, they started canceling flights, they started doing this, and at the time, no one really knew how bad it was, if it was like, like some bubonic plague thing that's gonna kill everybody. We didn't really know what was going on. They started closing everything down, closing stores, so we're like, yeah. And like just that, almost that day or the day before, they had canceled our Air Canada flight back to Canada. So I thought, in my head, I thought, okay, well, they canceled it, and everybody on the news, at the time when they first said, oh, we just need 2 weeks, flatten the curve, and all this fucking horse shit. And then it was all bullshit, right? But we thought, okay, well, we'll stay here another 2 months, right? And then COVID should be gone by then. So March came around, we booked our tickets again. No, fucking, still coming. Then the summer came, June came around, and it was COVID was still around, but it was just starting to like pick up in Canada, like pick up in different other countries and stuff. Like China was almost getting back to somewhat sort of normal, and we had our tickets booked, and the fucking flights were still being blocked or whatever at June. Then I think after that they completely shut them down. Like they said, okay, they were just not flying out anymore at all, or like so. That time there was nothing. So I'm like, well, looks like we're here for a while. So I was like, well, we'll stay here. So we stayed here, and fast forward to today, and here I am, right? Yeah, they put these stupid speed bumps on this road recently. This is not the normal road I would take. This is not even the countryside road. The other one, but they had it blocked off from the construction, so that's a nice drive, actually. That drive's really nice. Like, it's just kind of small 2-lane roads, just cruising through countryside. This is all right too. This is, not bad, but it's the same sort of deal. Just it's more of not a highway, but it's a bigger road anyway. It leads, So there's a lot of farmland, a lot of trees, a lot of fruit trees and stuff. Strawberry fields is huge. Strawberries are big around here, actually. Like during the summer, like strawberries are like pumping. They're a little pricey though. Even for here, they're quite pricey. Like you can buy a basket of strawberries, like a big, pretty big basket. You can see like 3 or 4 quarts of strawberries for like 50 RMB. They're not cheap, but they're freshly picked right here. But it's fucking mostly for like a tourist and shit in the summer. So the price is a little high, jacked up for that reason too. But you'll see these little stands like here on the right, that little hut there. Sell grapes, strawberries, just whatever fruit's going, but it's all fruit fields here. So that's cool. And yeah, coming up to town here in a little bit. Probably be there in